Hello everyone! I make this super large size grocery bag for my friend and I will show you how to sew it up step by step. We will start with the side pieces. You see that the outer fabric is a bit longer than the lining. That is the allowance we need for making the bag's opening. We're going to zigzag all around the sides together with the lining piece. We will also mark the midpoint on the bottom as this will help us in aligning the bag later on. Next, we will sew up the pocket's opening. We will double fold it so that the opening measures 2.5 centimeters. We also need to snip off the corners to reduce bulkiness. Over here, I left a 1 centimeter part unsewn on the edges as I may have to trim the folds down to make it more manageable for my machine. This pocket piece will run under the bag and form another pocket on the other side. The seam allowances on the long sides will be wrapped under the straps to create an encased strap look. We will also mark the midpoints on all the sides and also where the bag's bottom lands. All these markings will help guide us to make a symmetrical bag. Next, we will use a lighter to melt the ends of the strap. This will prevent it from fraying. Next, use some pins to mark the center of the strap and where the strap hits the bag's opening. For the main body piece, we will mark it like the pocket piece, plus the seam allowances of the bag's opening. We will sew the straps and pockets to the main fabric piece first. And after all that is done, we will add the lining. So position your straps as follows and pin them in place, and we are going to sew just the inner side of the strap to lock it in place. I'm going to attach the pocket piece. Fold the seam allowances under the strap and we will sew down the long sides from one pocket to the other. Now switch to the zipper foot and we will sew the pocket down to encase the strap. At the bottom, we're going to sew a box with a cross over it. So you can also add this box on the top of the pocket, but I left it out so that it can become a pen slot. Now I join the two boxes by stitching a line across, and that will become our pocket bottom. This will create a pocket that is 20 by 20 centimeters. I think that's quite spacious, and there will be one on each side. Now we attach the top of the strap onto the bag. So measure 11 centimeters from the pocket towards the bag's opening. The box we're sewing is going to be 5 centimeters long. We're going to add the main lining piece to the bag. The lining is 10 centimeters wider than the main fabric. I'm using the excess to cover up the seams later on. So clean up and give your main fabric a good ironing. I center the lining to the main fabric using the bag's bottom as a reference. The lining side should extend by 5 centimeters. The bag's opening on the main fabric should measure 9 centimeters. Now if it doesn't come out to be 9 centimeters, you just move the lining up and down until the bag's opening on both ends are the same measurement. Pin the lining down and we shall sew up the sides. You see that I've snipped where the corners are supposed to turn. We're going to leave the main lining piece out when we sew up the sides. It's easier to see where the corners are this way. After you sew up the sides, flip it around and check to see if the corners are in a nice right angle. Corner. So for the corners, kind of round it. And then I'm going to reinforce it. So I went over the corners and also sew over here and zigzagged. Now we use that excess 5 centimeters to wrap around the seams. Oh. Now we use that excess 5 centimeters to wrap around the seams. If you're using a thicker lining, you may need to trim off some of it so that it fits nicely around the seams. I'm gonna make an angle. Near about 2 centimeters. It's a 4 centimeter there. That's a very solid back bottom.